In his speech at the March on Washington, Dr. King said that they had come to Washington, D.C. to remind America of the fierce urgency of now. And he went on to say that now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. For 20 years, the New Jersey Institute for Social Justice has been on the front lines of social and racial justice to make real the promises of democracy here in New Jersey. But the promise of democracy cannot be made real in New Jersey until we build systems that connect people of color to wealth.
Dr. Martin Luther King actually visited Newark and walked along these streets when he went to a church down the street from here. What Dr. King said in one of the final speeches of his life is that now our struggle is for genuine equality, and that means economic equality. Because what does it profit a man to be able to sit at an integrated lunch counter if he can't afford to buy a hamburger and a cup of coffee? New Jersey has one of the largest racial wealth gaps in the entire country. Right now, the average net worth for a white family in New Jersey is more than $309,000 versus the average net worth for the average black family in New Jersey is only $5,900, and for the average Latino family, only $7,200. We are focusing on expanding employment opportunity through apprenticeship programs and working with our partners on Newark 2020, citywide hiring initiative. In housing, we're working to develop policies that would reinvest in communities of color and empower more people to become homeowners, which is the primary driver of building wealth and assets in this country. And we're working to help people have expanded access to credit and savings.
The promise of democracy cannot be made real until we're able to build a criminal justice system that treats all kids fairly. In New Jersey, a black child is 30 times more likely to be in prison than a white child, the highest racial disparity in America, even though black and white kids commit most offenses at about the same rate.
We're at a really urgent moment in time for youth justice transformation in New Jersey. In June of 2017, we had the launch of our 150 Years is Enough campaign to close New Jersey's youth prisons and reinvest funds into a community-based system of care. In January of 2018, we had the major closure announcement of Jamesburg and Hayes. In October of last year, we had Governor Murphy create the Youth Justice Task Force to oversee closure and reinvestment. But just a few days after the task force's first meeting, the state announced plans to build a new youth prison right here in Newark on the site behind me. And so a few short weeks ago, we joined 500 people at Westside High School right down the street. We had young people speaking, we had advocates, we had clergy members, we had parents to come together to say we don't need any more youth prisons in Newark or anywhere else in New Jersey. We need investment in our communities, we need front-end resources for our young people, and not telling them that incarceration is the only option we have for them.
And finally, we cannot make real the promises of democracy when 100,000 people with criminal convictions can't participate in it. To make real the promises of democracy, we need to restore the right to vote to nearly 100,000 people who are in prison, on probation, or on parole.
In March of 1986, I was incarcerated for a homicide, and I spent more than 30 years in prison, and I am currently on parole. I can't vote. I lost my voice. I lost my ability to connect with society. It made me feel like I wasn't a part of it. It made me feel less than human. It made me feel marginalized. You're silencing the people of color at a greater rate. They make up 15% of the population. They are approximately 50% of those that are disenfranchised. It takes the voice away from communities of color that are falling apart, because without a voice, who hears what the needs are of the community?
Because the system is going to be the system, the people have to be the people, inspired by the fierce urgency of now and determined to make real the promises of democracy.